All right. I've been seeing some posts about people complaining about distances between their launch monitors and what they're seeing in different sim games. Um, One in particular about GSPro. Apparently, it's coming up longer than the other sims. I think they use a Mevo Plus. I unfortunately have a Uneekor QED, so I can't speak to the accuracy of the Mevo. I hear it's accurate for the most part, though. So I just wanted to get a few shots in. I have on the screen my launch monitor software, which is Ignite for QED. That's on the right hand side. And then I got GSPro, the range open. I'm going to hit some drives just with my driver. Figure it's going to give us a decent idea of the numbers. Maybe I'll try and do a couple of iron shots. I've been fighting a hurt shoulder, so haven't been playing, and hitting off mats doesn't make it any better. So I'm going to try and stick with driver, but if I can get a few shots in with the iron, I'll do that as well. I'm just going to hit a few shots, look at the carry distances. That's the most important. Rollout will be different on every sim, but carry I would hope would be somewhat close. So I've cleared everything on my system. I have taken some warm-up shots, and we'll look at each shot and then look at the summary and see how close we are, at least on averages. So I'm going to be hitting my driver and Pro V1 and taking easy swings because my shoulder is still not good. So it looks like first ball here, my launch monitor is 249.2 carry. The game is showing 245. So in my case, I'm actually getting a little bit shorter carry, at least on this one, by about 4 yards or so. Total distance on my launch monitor was 269 versus 268. So including rollout, things are closer. So this one we have carry in the game of 256.2 versus 259.2. So again, GSPro coming in a little bit shorter on carry distance. Total number 280 on GSPro and 282 on the launch monitor software. All right, ball number 3. Right off the toe. It's good. You can see the ball shape as well. People have been complaining about ball shape, and I think both ball flights were similar. So 219 carry game. This one I actually get a little bit longer. My guess is it's due to some of the algorithms and how it processes the, in this case, very low spin. Yeah, very low spin. Not a driver day. So 246 launch monitor, or 246.7 versus 246 game. Yeah, that's a little difference there. 268 total game, 266 launch monitor. Still up there though. So we got 251 game, 255 launch monitor, and 275 total for the launch monitor versus 273 for the game. Carry's most important, especially if you're playing with irons and you're trying to go for exact distances. I'm not good enough to care about that. As long as I'm within 10 yards, I'm happy. Yeah, shoulder is not coming around. So 256 carry game, 254.4. Again, we're within 2 yards. I would have to say that how at least GSPro is taking my data from my launch monitor, both on ball flight, spin, carry distance, and total distance, it's pretty close. And again, I'm playing on, everything's the same at 0 elevation. No temperature adjustments or anything like that, just apples to apples in theory. Alright, so again we have a situation 250 versus 254. So I'm seeing some shots the game is a little bit longer, sometimes it's a little bit shorter, but overall we're not talking about anything major in difference, at least with what I'm seeing in GSPro. If I pull up the average of these shots, and I can pull it up on, unfortunately I don't have that screen shared, but if I look here, so total carry on my game is 246.32. And so 246.3 versus 247.8. So 248 versus 246, give or take. So a 2 yard difference in carry, with my launch monitor software actually being slightly longer than GSPro in this case. I will delete these, close here, and I will hit a couple of iron shots if my shoulder will hold up. I'll go with a high spinning club, so I'll go with a pitching wedge and see how this looks. And let's see what we get here. So my pitching wedge is 46 degrees for anybody that cares. So it's a good swings, 135 yards maybe 130, 135 carry. And if I really crank it, if I can, I'm closer to 140. And if I'm not cranking it, it's a 120 club. So let's see how this works out. Pitching wedge. So 134 launch monitor carry, 132, almost 133, so about a yard difference. Again, the launch monitor is sending spin data. So GSPro is not calculating that, it's just taking it. It's just applying spin rate, ball speed, launch angle, things like that to its own algorithms, which they've been fine-tuning for a very long time since I've been playing the beta. Try another one. Off the heel. It's a little bit lower spin. So about a yard and a half difference. Who's to say which one's more accurate? I don't know. Again, it's all estimates. Even if I go to the range, unless I'm walking off every shot, you can't tell, within a few yards what the actual carry truly is. As That's a nice fat one. So that's a misread. And that's due to the fact that I didn't set this ball properly. So we will cancel that one out, but I'll leave it in because it's still apples to apples when I'm looking at the totals. So that one's a good example of one I hit a little bit shorter. Again, about 1.5 yard difference. 124 versus 125.6. So I got 137 carry on my launch monitor, 135.1. So this case, I'm seeing consistently slightly lower distances in the game. Not enough to make it worrisome. That was more of a little punch I wanted to try. And 122 versus 126. So that one was a little bit different. I wanted to try that because I could put a ton of spin on it. And I think the slight difference is probably the algorithm and the calculation of how it deals with decay from the spin. I don't know physics or any of that stuff, but there is some calculation that goes into how the spin will affect the ball flight and the decay on the ball. And from my readings of the folks that develop GSPro, they truly believe that theirs is more accurate. So I'm thinking the higher spin I get, maybe the bigger the slight difference will be on the ball flight differences on the carry. Just a theory, no idea. Okay, just one more. Just trying to get one that way, and I finally got one that way. Just looking at the ball flight. So 124 versus 127, really high spin on that one too. And if we just look at the averages of this, it's actually a pitching wedge, not a driver. I forgot to change it. And I'm seeing carry of 120. I need to get rid of one shot, I think, because of that one is just throwing it off. This one here, because it's being thrown off because of that. All right, so we take you off, and then in my take it off on my other software list. This one here can go bye-bye. All right, now if I compare, I'm showing carry of 130.2 on my launch monitor versus 128. So 2 yard difference in carry. Had a couple of high spinners. I'm usually in like the around 9,000 for my pitching wedge. I'm getting a little bit higher probably because I'm dealing with a shoulder injury, and I think I'm going a little bit steeper now, which is worse. But I'm definitely producing some high spins. I have a feeling the small differences you'll see is going to be due to how the spin decay affects the ball flight. Hopefully folks from GSPro can chime in. But I'm not seeing any major differences between the two, my launch monitor software and what actually gets displayed in GSPro. So I don't think there's any issues with GSPro. I also have E6, Creative Golf, and Refine, which is a Uneekor system, so that's not even worth testing. But hopefully I'll get to check out the E6 driving range, see how that compares, as well as the Creative Golf driving range, and see how that works. And that's it for now. Hopefully this was helpful for anyone that was curious.